Welcome to Taking CAD Design to Product. Today we'll be using the software OnShape, which is both a web browser and extremely user-friendly. OnShape is kind enough to allow students to create a free account, so I'll show you how to do that now. First, you'll make your way over to onshape.com. In the top right corner, there's a section asking you to create a school account. You'll click on this and fill out your first name, last name, and email address. It will then ask what your role is. Here I'll select student and then college. Next, you'll fill in your school name, the URL for the school, your graduation year, your area of study, and what your use for OnShape is. Next, on the bottom, you'll click these 3 check marks and complete the sign up to have your free account. Here, to start a project, you'll select Create in the upper left corner. It will then ask for you to name the document. After that, it's very simple to get started. Sketch is selected to start as 2D drawing. We then select the plane that we want the object on. There are many different tools to choose from. Here I'll use the rectangle button. That will be plotted and then extruded. This creates a 3D object, as you can see on the plane. This will be the full object that we are trying to create. This contains 6 different parts, which I'll begin to go over now. First is the base of the object. This acts as the main part of the web shooter that will sit on the wrist and allow for function. In the middle, there is an area for the spindle to attach to, which can be wound up with string. There is then a hole through the front of it, allowing access to the projectile that will be attached. The 2 bars in front act as a hinging point for the trigger to attach to, while the elevated holes on the side provide extra tension from a cord. Lastly, the rectangular cutouts let us put a strap through the bottom, attaching it to the wrist so it can be safely secured to our hand as we shoot it. Then we have the trigger. This acts more as a stopper before the projectile is launched, and also has elevated holes for the other ends of the cord to attach to. These C handles that are in front will connect to the rods previously shown and can pivot back and forth. The circle will then be pushed down to release the projectile. There are a few key manufacturing notes about this item that will be listed later on. This is what will be launching from the web shooter. It comes to a pointed tip at the end to allow for easier insertion into the spring, and the front is hollow to put magnets in for later on. Next is the spindle that will attach to the center hole in the base and have a string attached to it to wind up. The hole in the top will have a handle going through it to allow for better leverage to spin. This is that handle that will then be inserted. Lastly is the top piece to cover the hole of the base. This will act more as an aesthetic part, as it doesn't really affect the function of the web shooter. Back to the assembly, now that we have all the pieces placed together. Assemblies are a great way to see if the parts you have created will actually fit together without having to make them first. You will get notified if there are any parts that overlap each other or clearances that aren't met. You can also change the view on the side here to see the part in ways that you weren't able to before. This projectile has a good clearance against the barrel. So do the handles. And the stopper does not interfere with the front of the projectile. After it is confirmed that everything is the right size and in place, it is now possible to take it over to the manufacturing side of things. Today we'll be using Cura. To get this part into the software, you must go down to the bottom where the part file is and select Export. There, you will select the export one more time in blue. It will then download as an STL file that can be transported into Cura. Once we enter Cura, the file upload can be found in the top left. We click this and then select the file and hit Open. It will then pop up with the object that was created. Now it can be placed on the plane and rearranged. You can do this for as many parts that fit on the plate. After uploading several parts, this is the original orientation given. However, for 3D printing, there are certain ways that you want to print. The object must have a good foundation to the plane, so the setup of the projectile here isn't too favorable. As it can be seen, when we flip upside down, there are red markings that indicate overhangs. This means the part will not be able to be printed without some sort of support, since it is hanging freely in the air and the printer cannot extrude onto nothing. To fix this, we will have to rotate the objects so there is the least amount of overhangs possible. This is done by clicking onto a part and then selecting the rotation option. We can then select a face to align to the build plate with the third button. The rest is done for all parts and they are spaced out then accordingly. We can now start the actual slicing, which essentially divides the part into lines of 0.2 millimeters. All of the default settings can be found on the right hand side. The only one that will be changed is turning on supports. This is because there is still the hole here that needs supporting, and both the overhangs on the bottom. We can now slice it and examine each layer line in the preview. At this time, it should also be noted that on the bottom right hand side, we can find the time and cost that it will take for this part. The cost is for average PLA on the market at the time. Going into the preview, we can see each layer line that is separated and even go line by line and see where the extruder head will be at the time. Over the 3D printer, once the file is on the flash drive, it can be accessed through the print button and then by selecting the file name. This will bring up a preview and print time to ensure it is the right print. It then automatically begins its setup and will shortly be underway once the temperatures get to the desired level. This print took 30 minutes for the 4 parts, and I had to print the rest off camera at an earlier time. The post process begins with the deburrer tool on the left and the plier on the right. Here I am removing the supports that are inside of the projectile and the spindle. This involves using the pliers to grab hold of the excess material designed to be pulled off. Some supports are harder than others depending on the placement and availability of tools. After this, the deburrer is used to clean up any rough edges and smooth them out. Once these parts are finished, I have then added them to the other printed parts. Fishing line is then tied to both the projectile, through the spring, and onto the spindle. These are then inserted into the middle section of the web shooter where it can be spun. Here, I will be attaching the topper over the spindle to secure a tight fit. Once this is set in place, the handle can then go through the hole of the spindle. The spring and projectile is then pulled through the barrel by the spindle as it is being spun up and loaded. Once everything is set into place, I will now shoot it as a test where you can see it eject off of a balcony. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope that you learned something useful today. Have a good one.